remember walking in there saying, unconscious discipline has always worked just fine for me, you know. And so I was pretty resistant. Classroom management and discipline like that has never been a real big problem for me. So I was just sort of like, oh God, how many hundreds of hours am I going to have to sit through for this? I used to just sort of blow things off. I'm sort of a passive aggressive by nature, I guess. Sort of like tattling, you know, is there blood? Are there bones showing? Okay, go away. And now I'm getting more towards, okay, well, let's sit down and talk about it. But it's a lot of little things. I didn't just wake up one day and said, oh, this is great. And I remember sitting there thinking, like, I don't have enough to freaking do, right? I have to do this, I have to do that. That's not the way I feel now. but that's how I walked in. If I were talking to a fellow teacher that was resistant to this, I think I'd start off by telling them, you should start with jobs. Think about some of the things that you hate doing and have a kid do it. I hate answering the phone in the middle of a lesson. Now I have a receptionist and they pick up the phone, good afternoon, Mr. Miller's class, how may I help you? Because 90% of the time they don't need the teacher. So the kid will listen and then they'll say, LaShondra, you're out of here. LaShondra gets her stuff and she's gone. And that's one thing you don't have to do. I started realizing this makes my job a breeze. And now this year, I don't even start until about 15 minutes into class. I sit in the back and I do the activities, and the kids just do our conscious discipline, get ready for the day activities, and after 10 to 15 minutes, I start. So I get to sort of student for the first quarter of the class. So that's nice. Boys and girls, please remember these first three activities, breathing, Safekeeper, Wish Well, are for 3 minutes of focus. We breathe to get oxygen into our brain so we can learn. We do Safekeeper so we feel safe. Why? So we can learn. Then we do Wish Well to make us realize we're not the center of the universe. There's other people out there. What's the goal for us for these 3 minutes is to pay attention. Being quiet is the start of that. Paying attention, 3 minutes of attention. When you're ready.
1.
Boys and girls, it is my job to keep you safe.
It is our job to help keep it safe.
Now we're going to take a moment to wish well. Friends and family, anyone in need. Thank you.
I'm not really a touchy-feely connection kind of person. So it's sort of funny, but like the thinking of you, I think that'll be huge. I don't know if it'll help the kids, but it'll sure help me. I've always thought you need to have time to have fun. Like one thing that's changed, and this sort of showed me how I'm internalizing this, is I've always used lunch as a reward. I had elaborate systems. I had glasses with pennies, and oh, everybody has their pencil when the bell rings. That's 2 pennies for you, you know. And when you get 50 pennies, you get to have lunch on the patio or lunch in the classroom or something. Well, this year, I looked around. It was a beautiful day. And I just wrote, tomorrow, lunch on the patio for everyone. And so it became not a reward, it became a celebration. When I switched away from rewards to celebrations, it took a burden off of my back. I found that I could focus more on the children rather than on keeping track. And I hate to say it, but I thought, yeah, I rock. This is good. Yeah, I'm good. You know? I wish I could say that more often, but in this one case, you know, I pegged it, yeah. And I had a lot more fun. A big part of this conscious discipline, I think, is that you're working on yourself, and then as the leader, you spread it through the class. But you have to do it first. I work with at-risk kids, and the year before last, I didn't have one kid pass the state test. We made several changes. One of the big changes was I started using conscious discipline. And my 6th grade went up quite a bit. And my 5th grade, we went from 7 out of 23 passing to 19 out of 23 passing. 7 had passed in 4th grade and 19 passed in 5th grade. It was huge that And I think a big part of it is after we did our conscious discipline routines, then they were mostly ready to learn. I mean, they were still fifth graders, but they were mostly ready to learn. I think the biggest change in me that it's created is before I used to teach a class. I don't teach classes anymore. I teach individuals. And I noticed last year, about the second week of school, I just knew everybody's name. Before, I used to stand them up and say, this is your name, this is your name. Okay, go stand over there, I got you guys. And I'd treat the kids like flashcards, okay? Now, because I'm making those individual connections, the names just come. And that might seem silly, but for me, it's huge.